Hey guys, it's Ryan here from Blockchain Markets and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a little catch up on what happened this weekend on the market. But just before, I'll show you something new that I'm doing to grow the channel. I'm running a Bitcoin giveaway. So how can you participate in this? You basically can go to my website, blockchainmarkets.com, and click this here, the Bitcoin giveaway. That will bring you to this page. I'll put the link, of course, in at the bottom of this video in the description. And basically, you can just join the giveaway by, of course, subscribing to the channel and referring some friends, and you gain some points. So you can, at the end of the 100 days, when the contest ends, then you are eligible to win some Bitcoins. Why am I doing this? Well, because as I said in the video, in the previous video, now I reached a point where I created all the content that I wanted to create, that I feel comfortable with promoting. Now we have a lot of, you can check the channel, of course, if you're already following us. You know that I've done already a few interviews with different projects, and now it's a good time to start focusing also in growing the user base. So let's jump now. Having that said, go to the description and then you'll know more about this. So just quick recap on the market. This weekend was quite a tough weekend, as you see here in this article. It showed from CoinDesk. It showed that this weekend we actually got to the lowest point of 2018, when we thought in March that that was the bottom. No, Bitcoin went even lower actually than $6,000. Now, of course, in doing the research, I found a lot of explanations on what's the short-term explanation, some technical analysis, and then what's the midterm analysis and the short-term analysis, and blah 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 blah. Now, I've been in the crypto investment sphere for quite a long time now, and I spend 100% of my days doing research for different projects. Now, of course, I'm invested in cryptocurrencies, and this is not financial advice, of course. This is my own opinion. But what I do for myself is, I think, in the short term, there's no way, nobody knows what's going to happen. Think this: when you see a lot of these people going through the short term of Bitcoin, what's going to happen the next week? How, if we reach this point here, we just got to the bottom, and now it's time for the beginning of the bull market. When you see those videos and you are about to believe it, think, well, if that person knows exactly what the bottom is and knows exactly when the bull run will begin, then why is that person not a billionaire? That's all I can say. That's all I can say. So then, for me, I don't really look at technical analysis. What I think it's much more interesting in crypto investments for myself is to look at the fundamentals, to look at how good the project is, how strong the team is, and then not only for investing in ICOs, but when I do it also for other projects where I want to put my money for the long run. So projects like, for example, Cardano, for me, are really strong, or Neo, for example, are strong. Ethereum, of course, has a huge community, and they're likely to stay here in the long run. Now, when you see these short-term predictions, you should always be skeptical. That's the way I think. So this, of course, you can see it by yourself. I just want to show you a bit of what happened this weekend if you haven't seen it. Now, what I think is more interesting is to show you some news on what's happening in the crypto sphere in terms of adoption. Now, you have adoption more of specific coins of specific projects. Now, we haven't seen a lot of adoption. We know that, of course, in the biggest is Bitcoin, but people are not really using it for transactions online, but mainly just to stake the positions, and they're using it more as a way to keep their wealth. Ethereum, of course, is the one that has the most traction, but not for transactions, or it's mainly for running ICOs, the ERC20 tokens. But in terms of adoption, I would say that Ethereum, of course, has been the most successful until now. Now, having said that, it's successful for other crypto projects to run their initial coin offering. But when it comes to other cryptocurrencies, besides those two, maybe Neo has some use cases, but in general, we haven't seen a lot of usage and of adoption from the coins. So I think it would be a bit of a waste of time talking about that. I think we just need to keep it a bit of time. I think probably 1 or 2 years from now, we'll have more bigger use cases where big companies are using them and governments are using that. Speaking of which, what I think is more interesting is to start looking at what governments are doing related to crypto. So you have governments like Abu Dhabi, for example, that just launched a new regulation framework for crypto assets. I'll leave the link in the description if you want to go more in depth. But basically, what they're doing is they're just creating a legal framework for assets. Of course, it's in the best interest of Abu Dhabi to, and it's very clever of them as well. And it's what other Emirates like Dubai are doing. They're basically realizing that they won't have oil for the next 100 years, not even for the next 40 years. So then they have to diversify. And of course, cryptocurrencies and blockchain gives them a good opportunity. So then, yeah, basically what they're doing, as I said, they're just coming out with a new regulatory framework for the crypto assets. Like this, of course, there are other countries like probably you have seen that Malta is very active as well. So for what they want to do here in Malta, not here, I'm not in Malta, I'm in the Netherlands, but here in Europe, I mean, in Malta, they're planning basically to do something similar to what Switzerland is doing. They're trying to make also this friendly frameworks, legal framework for crypto projects to come in here and to launch the project from here and launch and have the companies based in Europe. Now we have seen that in Abu Dhabi, in Malta, as I said, in Switzerland. There are other places, of course, but some big countries have been pretty unclear, like the United States or China and South Korea, where crypto is huge as well, has been not that clear. The authorities haven't been that clear on what the framework or if blockchain technology or crypto companies are really welcome or not. So that's why I think it's important to see that these things are happening. So because it will push these bigger countries to have to do something. They're going to have to look for new ways to attract this new wealth, not just from wealth accumulated by crypto investors, but also from companies. As you see here, the Bahamas is ready also to launch a state-backed cryptocurrency. Now this is slightly different. this is, I think, something that we'll see also in the near future happening as well. But it shows again that that's what I want to show you. It shows that blockchain and cryptocurrencies are here to stay, and that governments are actually listening to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be creating these legal frameworks for cryptocurrencies. They wouldn't be creating or considering creating their own cryptocurrencies. Now, of course, we saw what happened with Venezuela a while ago, that created their own oil-backed cryptocurrency. Now, if you ask me, I think that's some just big bullshit of dictatorship that just wants to get money, and at the same time just screwing their people. But I think a real a country that if you see, for example, what countries are planning to do with blockchain to actually help the people, you can I encourage you to see what IOHK is doing. I mean, that's the company behind Cardano, and they have some videos. You can follow them on see the videos on YouTube, and they're showing all this new partnership with governments, especially in Africa, where they're basically partnering with them and say, well, we'll create a hub where we'll just teach people how to develop on our platform on Cardano, so they can create decentralized apps, and that's a way also then they can create wealth for themselves. So that's a way that the government, on the one hand, facilitates, and they are the catalyst. They facilitate the entry of projects like Cardano, who wins. They win because they can get more like people to know about the technology, and these people, by knowing about this technology, can have a good or a much better income in a technology that is just beginning and is likely to be way bigger. So we see in a short, in a nutshell, that governments are listening to this. Some of them are doing it in the right way, like listening in, bringing their projects to their countries, like Malta, like some African countries with Cardano as well. Also, kudos for Cardano, of course, it's them reaching to these countries. Countries like Switzerland as well are very busy with this and just trying to create a framework. Some other countries are doing it like the bad way of trying to centralize, than really not understanding at all the whole decentralization movement behind cryptos. Countries doing it the wrong way, trying to create a national cryptocurrency. Yeah, when I see those things, it's just like, man, you didn't understand anything, but you just want to just like create something that you think that people will use that. Why would people use the cryptocurrency of the Bahamas when they can use any other cryptocurrency of the other like 1600 or 2000 there at the moment? There are 40 ICOs every day, so you have 40 cryptocurrencies in principle. You have in theory you have 40 cryptocurrencies per day, new cryptocurrencies. So, and governments doing that, or like what the example I gave of the government of Venezuela, just like trying to grab some money somehow, but people in the countries are not really seeing the benefit, and they won't see the benefit if the governments do it that way. So they're good and bad ways, as I said. So I think that's all for today. We cover like the markets. It's tough. We reached the bottom. We don't know if we reached the bottom, but what I can tell you, it's from my perspective, I think you should always invest, if you invest in cryptocurrencies, in the long term. And as I said, this is not a financial advice. This is more for educational purposes. And I'm saying what I do basically. Please do your own research and of course, these investment in cryptocurrencies are indeed risky, but they're also very profitable if you do it the right way. So yeah, the market has been bad, but yeah, there's nothing we can do. It's just wait and then look at it as a long term. If for everybody that looks at the long term, what I think also is that these people will become the real winners, because in the short term, whenever I do look in the short term, the psychology behind of looking at all the numbers in red is just like it tricks your it screws with your head, because you want to sell and you end up doing it the completely opposite way that you should do. You end up buying when it's expensive, and you end up selling when it's when you get like freaked out, and when it's going down. So that's as a just for you to for you to know, the way I do it is I look at the long term, and I usually don't really look at CoinMarketCap that much as I did at the beginning, as much as I did at the beginning. So yeah, that being said, guys, that's all for today, and join the Bitcoin giveaway if you want to get some free Bitcoin in a few more days. Cheers, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye.